For the most part, it's definitely on the West Coast. So like, is Arizona prison politics similar to California? Because like, as I can see right here on this thumbnail, like you got Wood versus Crip, and for people that may not understand what that means, if you could you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah. So a wood is, a lot of people say it's we'll say it to a lot of white dudes, but it's somebody who's been to prison in Arizona or in California. Some stuff is different in California. Our politics are about 90% the same. We get most of our politics from California. But the woods, the other 10% is Arizona mixed in their own politics, because Arizona prisons are racially segregated.
Right.
You have your white dudes, your black dudes, your Mexican dudes, and your Native Americans. We call them chiefs. They have two different sections: the Dene and Warrior Society. Then you have the blacks used to have the Mau Maus, but they don't have that anymore. So now they don't really. They kind of just click up with each other by whatever gang or hood. It used to be not like that. Now it's not structured. So all the other races have really tough militant style structure. We have, then the Mexicans have the raza, and then we have the wood pile. We call them woods. We're an extension of the AB.
Right.
Only a select few will ever become in Arizona. Only a select few will ever become an Aryan brother. Right. The woods were like foot soldiers. And I got to make this clear because a lot of people get it mixed up. Woods are not skinheads. We're different. We don't roll a certain way. I mean, we roll it a certain way. We don't roll the same way. The best way that I can put it, that my big homie told me to look at it like, because I asked him not too long ago, I'm like, yo, like, I'm having to explain all the time the difference. How can I do that easily? He said, just tell people skinheads hate to hate. You know what I mean? So right. Do we have, stringent, like, real tough rules? Yes. I'm not allowed, and you don't have to be black. If you're a Native American or Mexican, I wasn't allowed to take open food.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would get in trouble for that. We have to sit when we eat. Everybody has their own tables. The whites, Mexicans, the blacks, and the chiefs. Everybody's tables are split up. You sit with your own race. It's mandatory. You don't have a choice. You don't get to just go into this new world and say, I'm independent. There's no such thing.
Right.
Now, can you say, I don't want to put in work? Of course. But if a riot pops off or something happens, you're still expected to ride. But they're not going to walk up to you and go, hey, here's a banger. Go and hit that dude over there. Go and stab that dude over there. A banger, for people that don't know, is a shank, a knife. That's just what we call them. Nobody really calls them shanks anymore. I think that's like a 30-year-old type term.
Right. Definitely, bro. But
what I mean?
Not to cut you off, man. I definitely
appreciate
you for sharing that, man. And I definitely appreciate you for giving your true definition of what a wood is. You know what I mean? And my interpretation of of what a wood, it kind of ties in exactly to what you said before you gave your description. Like the fact that you said it's like, you know, an extension of the AB or whatever, but like only a certain few would be that. So that kind of, you know what I mean, like makes me think like, you know, I have seen, you know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of, you know, when I think of a wood, like I do see like, you know, big tough white guys, you know, in prison or whatever that may or may not have these, you know, these AB tattoos or these other, you know, racist tattoos that, you know, just, you know, call it what it is, whatever. But at the
Right.
same time, you know, those same individuals, you know, they may or may not be, you know, completely against, you know, interacting with other races or whatever. It's more like, you know, they're not necessarily to say going with the program, but you know, they're who they are and they're running who they're running with, but it's not necessarily to be, you know, like you said, one of the selected few or whatever.
Right.
If I'm kind of making sense of
Yeah.
how I'm interpreting or whatever.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. Yeah. Because you earn certain types of ink in there.
right,
You know. So okay. So like, if a skinhead, if he gets a swastika tattooed on him, they don't have. They can just do that. They don't
right,
got to earn anything.
yeah,
Maybe certain different factors of their shit. You know what I mean?
right,
Uh, if they get that, sometimes I know in other states it can mean that they killed somebody of another race.
right,
If a wood gets a swastika, it has nothing to do with that. Or the SS bolts.
right.
I can't really say too much on how they get that because then that puts me in a jam.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't want you to do that. It's other documents that people can Google to find out that, you
Yeah,
know what I mean. So
yeah. Well, we don't earn that. You're not allowed to stab another race. Doesn't work that way.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, if it comes to down to that, every race has to handle it in house. Meaning, for other people that don't know, they have to handle that. If I have an issue, and this goes for the higher yards you get on, the higher yard you make it to, the more politics you got to follow, the more strict it is.
right,
Um, you earn those tattoos by doing, certain things. That has nothing to do with race.
right,
Um, it's more of a sign of like, yeah, that dude'll get you. You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's they mean different stuff. It has nothing, what I'm trying to get at is it has nothing to do with, being racist. I know dudes that got bolts and swazis on them that they earn by killing, it's by, putting in work on our own people.
right,
You know what I mean? And I know those dudes that got those that are listening to rapping themselves.
right,
Are we allowed to do that publicly? No. You can do it on your headphones, on a higher custody yard, you can do it on your headphones, but you can't
right,
be out, can't. And I grew up my whole life listening to rap my whole life. My number one favorite artist is Method Man. It has been since 92, 93.
heard that.
My first cassette tape was part 2, Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Then my second one was Criss Cross, Totally Crossed Out. So it was different for me to have to watch how I talk, speak. I wasn't allowed to do certain things like, I couldn't play cards with another race against my own race.
Right,
I got talked to for that. I got talked to because when I first got there, I was playing dominoes and I slammed dominoes. Boom. 3s and
right,
6s with 2 bad bitches. Blah. You know what I mean? I got in trouble. I'm not in trouble. I got talked to for that. Because it's technically not like the white thing to do, they say. You know what I mean?
right.
So there's certain things and guidelines that I had to follow, but people knew too. I let people know off top, like, hey, I don't get down with the Hail Hitlers. You know, I don't get down like that. I don't do that. But I